The Toyota Corolla isn't just popular, it's the best-selling car in automotive history, with over 50 million units built since 1966. But have you ever wondered what it actually takes to turn a flat sheet of steel into the car sitting in your driveway? Today, we are going deep inside the factory floor to see exactly how a Corolla is born, from raw metal to a finished vehicle ready to drive off the lot. Stage 1: Stamping, giving steel its shape. Every Corolla begins life as a giant coil of raw steel, thinner than you'd expect, but incredibly strong. These coils are uncoiled and cut into flat sheets called blanks. Each blank is fed into a massive stamping press, a machine that can exert thousands of tons of force. Inside sits a die, a precision-carved mold shaped exactly like a body panel, a door, a hood, a roof, a fender. When the press comes down, it doesn't just bend the steel, it forms it in one decisive strike, pressing the flat sheet into a fully three-dimensional shape. This isn't a single pass. A panel typically moves through several stages within the press line, first a rough draw to establish the basic shape, then trimming to cut away excess material, then piercing to punch out holes for bolts and fasteners, and finally a flanging step to fold the edges for welding later. Precision here matters enormously. The dies themselves are adjusted in increments smaller than a human hair, because even a tiny imperfection in a panel will show up later, as an uneven body line or a poor-fitting door. Skilled technicians work alongside the machines, hand-checking surfaces for the subtlest of ripples invisible to an untrained eye. By the end of this stage, a pile of loose panels, doors, hoods, quarter panels, floor sections, sits ready for the next transformation, becoming an actual car body. Stage 2: Welding, building the skeleton. Individual panels don't make a car. They need to be joined into a single rigid structure called the body shell, or body in white, named for the bare, unpainted metal color at this stage. This is where the factory transforms into a symphony of sparks and precision robotics. Robotic arms position each panel with sub-millimeter accuracy, then fuse them together using spot welding, a technique where two pieces of metal are pressed together, and a powerful electrical current melts a tiny point between them, fusing the metal instantly. A single Corolla body requires thousands of individual weld points. Some factories report as many as 4,000 welds to fully assemble the floor, sides, and roof into one unified shell. Robots handle the vast majority of this work because of the repetitive precision required, but human inspectors move through the line checking weld quality, since a single weak weld point could compromise the car's structural integrity in a crash. Once the main shell is complete, moving parts, the doors, hood, and trunk lid, are attached. Interestingly, these panels are deliberately installed with slightly adjusted alignment, because once heavier components like window glass are added later in assembly, the added weight naturally settles them into their final, perfect position. At the end of welding, what rolls out isn't a car yet, it's a hollow, silver-gray metal shell. But it already has the unmistakable silhouette of a Corolla. Stage 3: Painting, protection and personality. Before any color touches the body, it must be spotlessly clean. The shell is dipped and washed to remove every trace of oil, dust, or metal debris left over from stamping and welding. Even microscopic contamination can ruin a paint finish. Next comes priming, most commonly through a process called electrodeposition, where the entire body is submerged in a tank of primer, and an electrical charge causes the coating to bond evenly to every surface, including places a spray gun could never reach, like the inside of door panels or hidden seams. This primer layer is critical for rust prevention, especially in a car expected to last well over a decade on the road. After priming, technicians apply sealant along every seam and joint. This stops water and dust from ever creeping into the body over the vehicle's lifetime. Then comes the color itself, applied in multiple layers. First, a middle coat builds the base color and adds a layer of corrosion protection. Then a top coat, or clear coat, is applied. This is what gives the Corolla its glossy, reflective shine and its resistance to fading from years of sun exposure. Between each layer, the body passes through drying ovens, curing the paint at controlled high temperatures so it bonds permanently to the metal beneath. Finally, under bright inspection lighting, workers examine every inch of the body for the faintest imperfection, a speck of dust trapped in the paint, an uneven patch, a drip mark. Any flaw found here gets corrected before the shell is allowed to move forward, because catching a defect after painting is far more difficult than catching it during the process itself. Stage 4, Assembly, bringing it to life. Now the real transformation begins. The painted shell moves onto the main assembly line, where it will spend the next several hours being built up into a complete, functioning automobile. This stage relies on something Toyota pioneered decades ago and still uses today: just-in-time delivery. Rather than stockpiling warehouses full of parts, components arrive at the exact station where they are needed, at the exact moment they are needed, arriving daily from Toyota's own component plants and over 100 outside suppliers. The order of installation is carefully choreographed. Wiring harnesses and insulation go in first, since they need to be threaded through spaces that will soon be blocked by other components. Then the dashboard and interior framework. Then the engine and transmission are lifted into place from below, married perfectly to the body's mounting points. Suspension components, brakes, and the exhaust system follow. Only after the mechanical heart of the car is installed do workers add the visible finishing touches: seats, carpeting, the center console, door panels, and finally, the wheels and tires. The windshield and windows are installed using robotic precision to ensure a watertight seal. Throughout this entire stage, one of Toyota's core manufacturing philosophies is constantly at work, a concept called Jidoka, meaning automation with a human touch. Every machine on the line is equipped with sensors capable of detecting even minor defects. If something isn't right, the line doesn't continue blindly, it stops immediately, alerting workers to fix the problem before a flawed part moves any further down the chain. This is one of the biggest reasons Toyota's manufacturing system is studied and copied by automakers worldwide. Stage 5, Inspection and Shipping, the final verdict. A fully assembled Corolla isn't finished until it earns its way through one final gauntlet: rigorous inspection. Technicians test every electrical system, lights, infotainment, power windows, climate control. The car is driven on rollers to test the engine, transmission, and braking system under real operating conditions. Wheel alignment is checked and fine-tuned. Water tests are conducted to make sure not a single drop leaks through any door, window, or seam. Only after passing every single check does the Corolla receive its final approval. From there, it's loaded onto car carriers and shipped out to dealerships around the world, completing a journey that began as a flat, anonymous sheet of steel and ended as one of the most recognizable, most trusted vehicles on the planet. Closing. From a coil of raw steel to a fully finished automobile, the Corolla passes through the hands and robotic arms of an extraordinarily precise manufacturing system, refined over more than half a century. It's this obsessive attention to detail, at every single stage, that helps explain why the Toyota Corolla remains the most searched, most sold, and most trusted car in automotive history.